now from Sterling Financial Advisors.
Nice Christmas bow tie.
Hey, you like that? Yeah.
I want the ones that have the lights flashing.
I should get one of those. You know, with technology today, you barely even need a battery.
And then I'll wear my, what they call the ugly Christmas sweaters or something.
You'll be all set. Today we're talking about something, red flag for retirees with the IRS.
Well, when I sent this to you, I thought, you know, we get to the end of the year and start thinking about getting all your tax stuff done.
Yeah.
Actually, probably you start thinking about after the first of the year, but and then I read the title on this, and it's not just retirees; it's anybody.
That's true.
You know, they put this out for 9 red flags for retirees, but it's anybody that's going to be submitting their tax returns. You know.
And the first one on the list is making a lot of money. So, and
that's a bad thing, right?
That's a bad thing. It seems to be nowadays. But really, the point is, if you make over a certain amount, you're probably scrutinized a little bit more.
Well, I don't know if it's a red flag or they pull it out, but it tends to be that people who make a lot of money are always looking for opportunities to reduce their taxes.
Yeah.
So in turn, they probably scrutinize those tax returns a little bit more because somebody who's making $40,000 isn't really concerned as much as the person making $250,000 or $300,000, like you.
Yes. So that's that's something that's pretty much always been true.
I mean, the question is do you not want to make a lot of money because you might be red flag for your tax returns? If you can document everything, you don't have any problems. Yeah. So the where you run into problems is if you don't have documentation on all your deductions.
Right. The next one, which is an obvious one, failing to report all taxable income.
Well, that comes into play like sometimes waiters or waitresses where they get a lot of tip income or something like that isn't reported, and if you kind of close your eyes at that, that's where you're going to run into problems.
Yeah.
I mean, the IRS is going to say, what do you mean you only made $10,000 this year? You're working full time and you're not claiming all your income.
And that I can attest that happened to me back in like the late 1980s, and the restaurant that I was working at, part of a big chain, there was like a few people who were not reporting anything. Yeah. And the IRS came in, and they didn't audit so much, they kind of averaged out what they think everyone should have put on their taxes. Right. And so if you were one who put on a certain amount, you were fine. Right. I did not. It's not like I had a big penalty.
So did they come in handcuffs and haul you off to jail?
Yes, they took me to the pokey. No, they don't do that. It was just like, here's a tax bill, you can pay it over time. Right. That's basically what it was. So taking higher than average deductions, and the key word there is average, because I've always been told if you make a certain amount, your certain situation, meaning maybe you have a family, you have 3 kids, whatever it is.
Well, one of the other things was charitable deductions. I mean, I belong to a religious church that we tithe. So you pay 10% of your annual income. Well, you get a documentation from the church, and so you can justify why you're doing this. And I think that the IRS can accept those but when you're going out and taking deductions for your landscaping or whatever it is and trying to put it in as a business deduction, that's where you're going to run into problems.
Okay, so again, kind of common sense.
Common sense stuff, but if again, all of this has to do with documentation. Yeah. In my life, I was only audited one time, and they actually came out to my business and wanted to. Yeah. I had documentation on everything, and it was one of the few times, I guess, that somebody gets audited where you don't owe them anything. Yeah. And so I ended up walking away. I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, if you get audited and there's no change, you kind of say, well, he's not worth it. Yeah. We wasted our time with him. Right. So you kind of get a get out of jail free card for the next few years.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I've heard that anyway. So another one is, you just kind of went over this, claiming large charitable deductions. And I guess if over the years you have large charitable deductions, it's not going to be a red flag. Maybe you go up 10% every year as your income
Where you
does,
run into problems with that is where you're donating, furniture or something to Goodwill or something, and you overvalue that furniture of what you donated.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have documentation on that.
Right.
Now Goodwill will give you a card, but you fill in the amount.
That's right.
that you feel it's worth. And so if you're trying to say, well, this couch I couldn't sell on Craigslist for $50, so I'm going to donate it, and then you write off $250.
Yeah.
You have a problem there.
Right.
So the charitable deductions, when you do cash contributions, you usually have a receipt or something like that, or a credit card receipt that will verify that. But when you get into non-valued contributions, your time or whatever it is, that's where you run into problems.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you give some clothes or furniture to Goodwill, make sure you're fair market value.
Right. And what we do, usually every year, there's almost like a standard amount that we put in.
Right.
And so there's no red flag. It's not like, boom, it jumped up. And
the other thing that they've done is if your mileage on your car, if you belong to a youth group or something in your church and you're driving youth around to various locations for whatever it might be, you're able to write that off. Okay. Well, again, if you're trying to overestimate the number of miles or what you've done, you're going to run into problems.
Ah, interesting. I didn't even know you could do that. So now I know this is a big one. After a certain age, 70 and a half, not taking the required minimum distributions.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah, at age 70 and a half, if you've got an IRA or 401k, 403b, any type of retirement plan, you need to start taking what is called required minimum distributions. Okay. And that is based upon actuarial table published by the IRS in publication 590. So there's the first year you have to divide your balance by 27.4.
Okay.
The next year it's by 26.5, 25.6. And so this table tells you how much you do. Now, more than likely, a custodian will tell you how much you have to take out.
Yeah.
But if you are kind of do-it-yourselfer, and you want to figure it out, those are things that you can find out in publication 590. But if you don't take out your required distribution, it's a 50% penalty.
Okay.
So if you were supposed to take out $10,000, you'd have a $5,000 penalty.
Wow.
And
that's because the IRS wants their money.
Plus, you still have to go back and take out the $10,000.
Yeah.
Which creates a problem. So.
All right. We got just a minute left. Okay. Rental income losses, and then failing to report gambling winnings. All right. I went to your casino night. I lost a lot of money. It was play money, but.
Yeah. You generally, if you have winnings, the casino is going to be reporting it to the IRS, and generally they're going to take out their share of taxes anyway.
Right. They take it out right away.
But if you don't report that on your income tax to show them, okay, I made $1,000, but they took out 20% and I got $800.
Yeah.
They're going to wonder why you didn't at least report that on your on your taxes.
Yeah.
So you can't just ignore it just because they have already taken taxes out.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to report the winnings. And if you're like me and you lose a lot of money, you just have to document that as well.
All right, so you got to be careful of all those pitfalls.
Again, as I mentioned, this is not just for retirees.
No,
it's for everybody.
Except for the minimum
required minimum distributions.
Everything else is
right. It's just normal that you want to be able to take a look at, and maybe next April we'll go over some of the other things that
I think that would be good.
Talk about. So.
All right. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I don't know if I'll see you before Christmas
Staying
or
around
not,
for the holidays?
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
well, we might go up north after a couple days after Christmas.
Good,
Go see some family.
Well, good to see you.
Good to see you. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas to your family. And sterlingfa.com, that is the website. We'll be right back.